Brian Johnson has become one of the worst offensive coordinators in the National Football League. He has put the Eagles in risky situations this season, and if they weren't so good, they would be nowhere near that 10-2 record right now. It is getting bad to the point that Brian Johnson may lose a playoff game for us strictly because of his awful play calling. In this video, I will be breaking down how bad Johnson has been and what he needs to fix going forward. Subscribe if you want to stay up to date with all things Philly sports. The first thing I want to address is Johnson's love for the QB draw. Jalen Hurts is obviously a mobile quarterback and can provide a lot with the running game, but the designed runs are becoming almost predictable at this point. The Eagles seem to only run one play from an empty set formation, and that is the QB draw. Doing this is not going to fool any NFL defense, especially if it's not fooling a high schooler who watches the game from home. Moving away from the QB draw, there are many other things to be concerned about with the way Brian Johnson runs this offense. Hurts has seemed to look a little off this year on passing plays compared to last year. From first glance, it looks like he might not be seeing the field and finding his open receivers, but in reality, Johnson's play calling hasn't been getting these guys open. You can't tell me that a group of guys like A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith and company can't get open on a consistent basis. I've noticed that the play calling has the receivers all going downfield while Hurts is left with nobody short or over the middle of the field. This makes him run out of the pocket and eventually just throw the ball away. Speaking of moving out of the pocket, Hurts hasn't taken advantage of moving out of the pocket this year, and I think that has something to do with Brian Johnson. Last year, if Hurts couldn't find a receiver, he would be able to get out of the pocket and run for positive yardage. Now, he just throws it away almost every time. You wonder if Johnson is forcing him to make these reads and hold onto the ball longer than he is supposed to. Brian Johnson is becoming the offensive version of Jonathan Gannon. Gannon's struggles were overlooked last year because they were winning a lot, but those struggles were clearly shown in the Super Bowl, leading to the Eagles' loss. If Brian Johnson continues this trend of bad play calling and offensive management, I think we are going to see it get exposed in the playoffs and potentially lose a game because of it. On paper, the Eagles' offense, in my opinion, is the best in the entire league, but Brian Johnson is holding them back in many ways. He is way too predictable in his play calling and doesn't give Hurts enough chances to succeed. I've said this since the beginning of the season that if Shane Steichen was still our offensive coordinator, Jalen Hurts would win the MVP. I don't think Hurts is the problem at all, and the questionable decisions we see from him all stem from Brian Johnson. I'm not usually one to blame coaches for team struggles, but in this case, the coach is the issue. He is the one calling the plays, and those plays are what is the issue with this team. I just want to take a moment to look at the 49ers game. The Eagles absolutely got smoked by the Niners, and there are no excuses for that. The defense was torched, and they have been absolutely terrible at times this season, but that is another video for another time. Focusing on the San Francisco offense, they found ways to exploit the Eagles' weaknesses and really open up the field. They were constantly making completions over the middle of the field, and they had guys everywhere running their routes. The Eagles did not do that on offense and had guys running vertical routes almost every play, giving Hurts absolutely no options. The running game is also not as dangerous as it once was due to Brian Johnson's play calling. With Shane Steichen last year, the offense was very balanced with running and passing. Now with Johnson, he shies away from the run game when you really need it and calls for deep passing plays when they are not necessary. Because of this, the Eagles get themselves into many third and long downs when it can easily be avoided. I know I've been going on a rant over Brian Johnson, and a lot of you might think that he isn't the problem, but I really do think he is a major factor into why this offense isn't getting used to its full potential. I'm tired of his awful play calling and head-scratching decisions. He needs to fix what he is doing going forward, because if not, it's going to cost the Eagles in a playoff game. Let me know in the comments what you guys think about Brian Johnson, and if you agree or disagree with my opinions on him. Make sure to like the video if you enjoyed, and subscribe if you want to stay up to date with all things Philly sports. Turn on post notifications so you don't miss any of my new videos. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you all in the next video.